Alright, this guide will be covering all the items, all the runes, the mindset you have to play this champ and not hate yourself permanently, and some general tips overall. It will assume that you will know all the basic Kassadin mechanics and that you like have played this champ before. Like, I won't explain the basic abilities of this champ. If you don't even know that, then this guide is not meant for you. So let's start with me. I have been GM since season 12 and I have been getting Chell last split. I'm basically an OTP. I only play Vladimir next to Cass, but most of the time I just even pick Cass into the bad matchups. I know basically every like shitty matchup. Like, I already played everything. I played versus Caitlyn mids to, I don't know, Cyan mids or whatever you can basically think of. There's so like people will come up with the most disgusting shit to counterpick you. So I know it all. You know, I experienced it all, you can say. I have been playing Cass since season 10. I have been like in season 10 he has been really good, and from that point on he has been kind of shitty. There was a point where he was really OP though, like in season 13 split 1 when they reworked his E, and yeah, he was basically power once back then. If you ask me how good he is now, I would say he's fine. You can climb trim in every elo. The only point where it actually gets like a bit harder and trickier is if you play like really high elo lobbies, like up from GM to like really high shell. It will be problematic since most games are decided early on in higher elo and he will just have no impact whatsoever. So that cucks you a bit. But overall, I would say you shouldn't take Kassa as weak. I think especially in like Emerald, 2 diamonds, low diamond, he's really, really strong. Since people are like basically maxed out mechanically or almost on this champ, and the only thing you need to know is macro. So you can just abuse macro and like stomp every low elo game. It's just really free if you know how to do that. Okay, so now let's talk about the mindset that you have to have on this champion. I think that's a really important topic since you will like have an easier time understanding how to play the game. First off, you need to understand that you will be a cuck in the early game. Like, enemy mid laner will go and he will cuck you, he will take your sister, and he will take your dog too where he's at it. There is just nothing you can do about that, but later on you can fight back once you're at level 6 most of the time, and obviously later on you're gonna be stronger, like, right? That's like the whole idea of this champ. There's another thing that is really important that you understand. I think that only applies if you actually played this champion in season 10 and earlier on, since back then he had a lot of base damage. Like, straight up, there was solo kill potential no matter what matchup. Like, you could literally solo kill enemy level 3. You could like run Electrocute, ignite, and then you could just Q, flash, auto take W, E or something for like, I don't know, 400, 500 damage if you start D-ring or D-Seal. It was like actually like really strong. But yeah, that leads to another thing. You won't be able to solo kill enemy. Like, there's just most of the time there's like no way you can solo kill enemy. Only after a certain point, like, I would say it's just obviously level 6, where you like, you can flash R or do some funky shit, and you can like bait enemies or like out trade them if you just know better when you win the trades or not. Most of the time that's still not going to be a thing. Like, the higher you go, the harder it will become. They will know your damage. They will also sometimes predict your R flash. That's like one thing you need to take care of, but I think the low, like, I don't think that's like a thing. If you don't play like in challenge or something, that's just most of the time not a thing. You shouldn't worry about that. Just give you an next example. One other thing is that you need to get used to playing these shield segments. That's like the core mechanic nowadays. You will sit under turret and you will get poked while you sit under turret and farm, which makes it not fun at all. It's like really disgusting. Since you have no wave clear early on, you can't really do anything against enemy shoving on a turret. If the enemy wants to shove you on a turret, he will shove you on a turret, and then he will auto attack or like use spells on you. One example of this is imagine like a Syndra, right, or like an Orianna. They will just shove in the wave and you will sit on a turret while having to last hit, while they like throw their spells at you permanently. That's why DC shield segment is really important, because you can't get away with DC start into like these matchups or not going segment. You will just have to recall after legit every single wave. There's just no other way. Next thing is that you need to get used to farming. Farming is like core. Like, it's like the mechanic on Kassa nowadays, since you can't get away with being mechanically better on this champion anymore, because yeah, this champion does not really have to offer that much mechanically, I'll be honest. It's just really important that you just need to get like at least, I would say, 8 CS a minute. Starting from Emerald, I would say 8 CS a minute. Diamond 8.5, Master 9 CS a minute, and so on, so on. It's just really important that you farm and farm and farm and avoid fighting most of the time. You should think about it like that. Is there anything to gain from this fight that you're gonna partake in? Like, let's say, like an early on fight, there's just no value to the fight, but just fighting. There is no Drake up, there is no grubs up, there is nothing up, and that will be just a useless fight, especially early on. Like, I would say, unless enemy is like legit 1 HP or something and you can kill him easily, and you know you're gonna win the fight like 100%, you know, you're like 100%, okay, I'm gonna win the fight, then I would not do anything. I would just not fight. Like, even if your jungler's, you know, your jungler's gonna be mad at you or whatever the fuck, who the fuck's fighting, right? Just don't care, it doesn't matter, you farm and you will get your CS up, you need to get level 6, and there's just no point fighting early on. Because if you wanna fight early on, then you're at the wrong champion, you know. You wanna play Talon or something, doesn't really matter what, but not Kassa. Like, even Vladimir at this point is way stronger early game than Kassa. The only really thing you have as Kassa early on is flash to like gap close, because you can only run, right? There's just no way you can normally run at people and do auto take W or something, which is like your most damage early on that you will have. So yeah, you need to like keep that in mind. One thing that's also really disgusting, which you have to get used to, is that you will lose games. You will lose a lot of games that are just gonna feel like shit. There will be no impact by you. It's like, let's say, even like in free matchup, right? Like Echo, for example. There will be games where the Echo will just out-shove you. Like, he will just shove you in. He will roam with enemy jungler, and he will just kill your jungler in his jungle while you are under turret farming, because Echo is just way more pushed than you. Like, basically any other champ. There's barely champs that can outpush Kassa early on. So you need to get used to this, that your team will tilt. Like, your team will tilt 90% of the time when you're in the game. I think this applies even more the higher you go. Like, people will straight up just ask you to not pick Kassa because they already know what it means to have a Kassa mid lane. Because like, it will just like result in you not moving, and your jungler or bot lane, or it doesn't really matter what lane, will have to suffer because of it. The only really thing you can do against this is ping a lot. Like, ping is your best friend with Kassa. You will have to ping out enemy mid position and like spam ping your bot lane to back off, or spam ping like an objective if you want to farm rather than try to contest. You have to understand that some games are just out of your control, and you just have to learn that, like, what games are your fault. There's no point tilting over a game, like a 50-minute F game where you have 10 CS a minute and 0 deaths or 0-0-0, because you did your part. Like, the only thing you have to do is get 10 CS a minute. Like, the better is, even if you like obviously kill someone or like solo kill or help your bot lane or something, right? Or like, I don't know, doesn't really matter. The only really thing you have to do in this champ is get 10 CS a minute, and then you can start playing. And if you did this, I don't think you should tilt if you lose games. You should just accept the fact that there's just some games that you can't win. Yeah, that's just all about the mindset. Okay, so next up, I will talk about the matchups a bit. There is just a lot of matchups where it's like worth considering dodging. Dodging is like really important on this champion. If you didn't dodge before, then you should really start dodging now. There's really like some disgusting matchups that will make you feel like shit, and you will just not have fun. Like, it's like negative dopamine, basically. You will legit torture yourself. I'm not even kidding, you will torture yourself. For all of these examples you can see here, right? Tristana is just like unplayable. She's just perma pushing you in. She will take a turret level like 7, level 8, or like whatever, right? There's just nothing you can do about that. And she will always like win 1v1s until like you hit like a certain point. When you get like some armor, or like enough AP, when you get random kills, which just mostly won't happen. The higher you go, the lower your win rate, because Tristana is just such an oppressive mid laner. Same with Akshan. He will solo kill you, he can roam, he can do everything that you can't basically early on. Irelia is just the same. It's even worse with Irelia in my opinion. It's like higher go, the worse it becomes. Irelia is like a champ that will just make you bleed. Like, she will legit make you bleed. She will make you want to GPQ yourself in game, you know. Like, there's just nothing to do about this champ once she gets her full item build, Worm Scepter. And that is probably one of the out of these 4 the easiest one, since he is not that strong now. He recently got buffed, but he is out argue playable now that you can rush Sonya's again. But he's still really disgusting to face, since he just stat checks you at every point in the game. He can roam, he can fuck you up. It's just well, every AD matchup is just kind of hard. And if you want to know more, I would suggest you looking in the description. I linked a matchup guide. I basically went through every matchup and made like a list to tell you if it's hard matchup, if it's good matchup, what items to start with, and how you play it. As you can see in the right, there's just 4 more examples of free matchups. I mean, they're not really free, but they are definitely easier to play. Like one example is ASOL. It's just most free matchup. The ASOL is basically the easiest matchup straight up. There is no other matchup that's easier. Why? Is because you can cancel his laser with your Q. You will just never use your Q unless he lasers. And if he lasers, you just Q him and you get a shield and it instantly silences him for like, I don't know, 2 seconds, I think. I'm not sure how long, but it basically cancels laser and he has to wait a bit. So there's just no way he can like kill you. You can just solo kill him permanently level 6. Phil Silas is, I would say, skill matchup. They were easier back in the days. Nowadays, they are, I would say, skill matchup. Ironically, you will have to play consistently and just farm. At some point, kill them 1v1 easily. The Sunrise is also pretty easy, rather easy. You just start the shield second when she can't kill you. The only really threat with Lissandra is that she can roam and get her team ahead, which is like a good way to beat Kassadin if you can't kill him in lane. So that's like one thing you should be careful. But overall, I hope you get an understanding of what's like a free and what's like a hard dodgeable matchup. It's really important that you need to start understanding that you need to swap with your teammates. I don't know, like the new mechanic that they introduced that you can swap and you don't have to own all champs is really OP for Kassadin. That made him a bit better. You need to actively play in champ select already. You need to look, okay, what is enemy mid laner? If they pick some disgusting shit and you don't know who it is, you need to basically gamble if you want to play that lobby or not. Let's say they pick something like Syndra Tristana. Then you would think, oh, it's Syndra mid, right? Yeah, enemy team will do everything to make you suffer. That's one thing I learned the hard way. It's most of the time always the worst option. It's really important that you understand that they will do, like, they will put everything in to like make you fucking suffer. Even if it's bad for them, they don't give a fuck. They will put their disgusting Tristana mid lane and just put Syndra bot lane. Even if they are bots, you know, if they're like not a mid lane player, they will just still put her mid lane. Should just fuck you up. Because, oh guys, it's Kassadin, we have to shut him down, right? So you need to think about that actively and just not make it easy for enemy. You need to always try to get last pick. The issue is that top lane wants to have last pick most of the time, but it doesn't really matter. Just fight for it, ask him, and if he doesn't give it to you, well, that's just unlucky. You have to first pick. And if they pick something disgusting, you might consider dodging. My personal advice is have 2-3 accounts and just go on the first one and play until you don't have dodges left. And then if you still want to continue playing, I would play on the second one. Do not queue up when you don't have dodges left, because that just makes you vulnerable. They will pick some disgusting shit and you can't dodge, so you're basically bound to suffer. If Riot doesn't nerf dodging more, then you should abuse this. Like, if it's in the game, then abuse it, you know. Don't feel bad about dodging. It's really important. A lot of people abuse it. And on this champ is especially OP, because since it's like such a matchup depending champ. Okay, now let's get to the runes. Kassadin's like a champ that can use a lot of runes and mainly boils down to preference, I would say, what you wanna run or what's good on him. It doesn't really matter that much most of the time. Kassa is more dependent on what you do in-game than out of game with the runes. It's still, obviously, you can't do some troll shit. Like, you can't, for example, Predator is objectively, like, not a good rune right now. So, obviously, you wouldn't want to run that on Kassa either. Or Airy, for example, but I will get into that later. So, I basically did them in order. Conqueror is the best, in my opinion, of course. Electrocute is the second best, Firststrike, Fleet, Comet. These are like the 5 runes that you will be mostly playing. There is some like really like stupid stuff that you can still go, like, for example, you can go Unsealed Spellbook. It's just really hard to pull off, and it's just, why make the game harder when you can make it easier for yourself, you know? That's how I'm thinking. So why Conqueror is the best is just the tree is okay, I would say. The tree is okay. But the rune itself, if you go ROA, Seraphs, Malignance, then you will have a really easy time. Especially since Malignance gives you 4 stacks on ROA, on Conk. So you will be just stacking it up instantly with one combo. And you will just run people over with that. Conqueror is really good at ROA plus CDR boots. spike kinda. It will reward you for like spamming abilities when you can't one-shot them right early on, so you will have to use multiple instances. Like you go through like 2-3 rotations until you kill enemies, and that's where Conqueror is good. It's basically like a mid-game rune. It's not that good late game, but in mid-game it's really nice to have. Electrocute is like the assassin rune that you wanna go when you wanna not go raw and you wanna go full damage. Basically, you want to like one-shot the enemy with one rotation. You want to like just one-tap them. Basically, the tree is decent. It gives you like really like a lot of snowball options with Eyeball Collection and like Ultimate Hunter or Ingenious Hunter. You can still go Electrocute when you play raw. I would just say it's not optimal. I think Conqueror is just the best with raw. If you wanna play raw, if you wanna go Seraphs Rush, then I would just go Electrocute. Same with Firststrike. It's just like Electrocute basically, but it's a bit worse in my opinion. There's people that will disagree with this. Like for example, I know that Cloud, like another high elo Kassa player, likes Firststrike a lot. I just don't like it anymore. Since they nerfed it, it feels like lackluster. There's not much damage you can really do with this. It's still nice to have, since the tree is really nice. You get free boots, you get Cosmic Insight, so you have more flashes, and you will have minion demats, which are also really nice to have on Kassa. It's just like a bonus on top, basically. Bleed has been shit for like, I think 3 seasons. It used to be the go-to rune in Season 10, and before that, it allows you to play a bit safer during laning phase. That's like a big misconception, like people don't understand. Fleet is not used for the heal, really. It's mainly for the movement speed. It like lets you allow to walk up for a minion and then run away quickly after you hit it. This is especially important in like Ieyasu and Yon or any basically melee matchup where you don't really want to interact with enemy or you want to like trade really quickly and run away. With Fleet you can just kite them a bit also later on. It's pretty nice. I give you an example. Let's say you jump in with R and then you like hit your W, your RW on someone late game, and then you instantly run backwards so you can kite them with the movement speed. Also the heal is pretty nice to have later on. I would say that Fleet is only playable with Raw. I don't see a world where you can play this with like the full AP builds where you go Seraphs first or something. It just doesn't make sense. I would just go Electrocute every day of the week when you play like this AP thing. But with Raw, I would say it's playable. And then we have Comet, the exotic rune. It's like a 50-50. I would say it's not really good right now. It's just not that good if you really wanna play it properly. It's like a cheese rune kinda. You can pick it into stuff like Syndra or Azir, champs that don't have sustain, and that you can max Q versus. That feels pretty good and great, but most of the time it's just not really useful since you will not be able to kill them anyways. The only really thing it does, it allows you to get some pressure off you since they can't attack you if they're like low HP themselves, right? That's like the whole idea. You basically just poke them when they poke you, and yeah, you can just like make them low so they can't annoy you that much early on. But overall, I would say, especially like for like beginner or lower elo people, I would just say either you go Conk or you go Electrocute. Yeah, that's my take on how on what runes you should play right now. Let's start with Conqueror and Fleet since they're basically the same rune page. This build, or like this rune page, is especially good if you plan on going Roar and Malignance. Obviously, you can also go Seraph seconds. I will come to that later with the itemization, but these rune pages excel with Roar and Malignance. Especially Conqueror. It's really good with Conqueror, since Malignance gives you 2 Conqueror stacks for free, just by hitting your R. So you will be able to full stack Conqueror with 1 combo, which is like really nice. Normally you would also need 1 more auto attack and then Conqueror stack after doing your full combo, but now you can actually stack your full Conqueror with 1 combo. So that's really nice. So obviously, let's say you go Conqueror, right, or Fleet, doesn't matter. Presence of Mind is like the first choice. People have been going Triumph. I don't know why. In my opinion, when you go Roar, you want to have Presence of Mind. It's just really nice. It synergizes with a lot of mana. You will get resets after like in a fight, and you can like jump permanently legit. It's really nice to have. Obviously, it's like a shadow of its former self. If you played Kassadin Season 10, then you know how good Presence of Mind really was. Now it's just, yeah, we just take it because there's just nothing else to do. like Triumph is just ass. Overheal is just okay. I mean, why would you use Overheal on Cass? I don't think that makes sense. Next up, you have the Tenacity or the attack speed. In this case, you will 99% take the Tenacity. There is games where they will have like just 0 CC, and then you can just take the attack speed rune, because why would you take Tenacity when there's no CC, you know? So yeah, you have to basically pay attention to champ select and think about it. Then we have Coup de Grace and Last Stance. It's like most of the time people just go Coup de Grace. They like default into it, but in my opinion, you just go Last Stance. Most of the time, Last Stand will do more damage, since with ROA and Malignance or whatever, especially with ROA, you will be low HP, and you will not one-shot people. That like, you know, like you won't one-shot them like straight up. So why would you go Coup de Grace when you will actually like have a longer battle probably? Especially that's like that's the reasoning why you go to Conqueror, right? Because you can't one-shot them. You want to like basically have like a sustained fight, kinda. I mean, not really. You just want to lose like 2-3 rotations, but you will get low most of the time. So I think that Last Stand is just a better option. Okay, now we have like the secondary tree. In this case, let's start with hard. Why I called it hard is because you wanna go this when enemy is like poke or burst potential. Most of the time you will just go second winds, like 99% of the times, with every rune page mainly, because it's like necessary on Kassa. You will get poked out by most things. You can obviously take that versus poke, or when you play versus like a bruiser, or I don't know, something specific like Fizz, for example. Fizz gets hard counter by bone plating, so you should just take bone plating. You need to think about it this way: can they proc my bone plating easily or not? For example, Talon, right? Versus Talon, you would think, oh, he's like an assassin, he wants to burst you. But you can just proc your bone plating with his W most of the time, and it's just lackluster. So you have to think about when you want to use bone plating. I would say that Demolish is also pretty good right now. You can just go that with second wind, and you can just like take plates when they roam. That's like the idea. Or you can take a tier 2 tower real quick if enemies like that, or not paying attention to you. So I think Demolish is really clutch. It's like a really nice rune to have. I like to run it a lot. And then we have Overgrowth. Overgrowth is like, it's like a bonus. It's when you don't need second winds or bone plating, I will just go Demolish Overgrowth. That's most of the time not the case though. You most of the time wanna go second wind anyways, but Overgrowth is like an option if you don't need it, you know. So you just go Overgrowth. It's like nice. It doesn't really give you much, it just gives you HP, but it gives you like a nice chunk of HP on top of it, because it gives you percentage HP at some point when you have enough minions farmed. Then especially synergize with ROA, right? So you will just get bonus HP. Pretty nice. Then if you have like a free matchup, I would just suggest going either Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection with Ultimate Hunter. It depends. Do you think you're gonna get a lot of kills and are you smurfing? Then I would just go Eyeball Collection, since Eyeball Collection is really sexy. You get 30 AP for free if you stack it out. And if you don't think you're gonna get a lot of kills, just go Sudden Impact. It's really nice. It synergizes really well with Kassa. Like, ironically, Sudden Impact out damages Electrocute most of the time. It's like such a nice rune, rune for Kassa. It's like the best rune almost. Ultimate Hunter is also really nice, of course. Just gives you less cooldown on R. It's pretty nice if you have it stacked up, especially with Malignance. You will have like 0.95, I think, cooldown on R late game, level 16. And you can just legit run over people. Like 3 item Kassa with this rune page, you'll just run over people. Okay, so let's come to Electrocute. So let's start with Sudden Impact. Sudden Impact is just better than Taste of Blood. I just put it here so I can explain it. Taste of Blood is just ass. Don't play Taste of Blood. No one likes Taste of Blood. Everyone hates Taste of Blood. Don't play it. Don't be that guy. Just go Sudden Impact. It's just 10 times better. Gives you more damage. While Taste of Blood gives you like you know, I don't know, 20 HP. And like every time you proc it, it's just legit nothing. Then Eyeball Collection. It's just like a rune that gives you AP. You can also consider going Zombie Ward or Poro Ward. But I would just go Eyeball Collection. It's just the easiest to play. You don't have to think about it. Don't make the game harder for yourself. If you're not like, I don't know, GM Plus, then it's like whatever. Just play Eyeball Collection. Then we have Ingenious Hunter or Ultimate Hunter. In that case, it depends. Do you want to go Seraphs or do you want to go ROA? If you want to go Seraphs, you go Ingenious. Why? Because you stack tier faster. You just stack it up way faster and you will have Seraphs faster. So that is like the point of rushing Seraphs. It's like a really strong item. When it's stacked only though, like if it's not stacked, it's kinda ass. So that's why you take Ingenious. Ingenious also gives you less cooldown on Zonia, or like any item that has cooldown. So that's pretty nice. Mainly it's just Seraphs and Zonias though, and Sweeper of course. But it's still really nice to have when you go Seraphs Rush. I mean, it's pretty important, honestly. If you go ROA, however, you wanna go Ultimate Hunter. It gives you less cooldown on R, which is like really important with ROA, since ROA doesn't give haste, so you have not much ability haste anyways. So it's pretty clutch to go it. Then we have the hard secondary tree, same as last time. Second, Bone Plating, Demolish, Overgrowth. I don't think I have to explain it again. Then we have the free one. I think it's like most of the time not gonna happen, but if you actually get like this free matchup, like Asol or I don't know, Silas, Corky, you know, then you can just go Presence of Mind with Coup de Grace or Last Stand, or if you need, of course, Tenacity, which is, I think that most of the time you're just gonna go Tenacity, Presence of Mind, since every game they have like a bit of Tenacity. But if they actually don't, then you can just go Coup de Grace if you play Seraphs, and Last Stand if you play Roar. Yeah, that's how you basically have to do it. Now we have Firststrike. Firststrike is a bit worse than Electrocute in my opinion. I know this is like controversial, people are gonna hate me for that or not, but that's just how I think about it. I just don't like the rune that much anymore. I used to be a big Firststrike fanboy when Crown was a thing in season 12. Crown plus Firststrike plus Ingenious Santa. It was like the cam combo, you know. You just like insta cam when you like proc it. It's so fucking nice. It used to be like I don't know if people remember it, but Crown in season, like before it got changed in season 12, also in season 13, but it doesn't matter. In season 12, there was like a thing with Crown that gave you adaptive bonus AP when it was up. So you just stack it up, you know, stack it up with Firststrike, and you will just deal like so much damage when they like face check you, or when you actually like flash out them with Crown up. It was so nice. You wanna go boots? In my opinion, it's the best. Like the skill point thing is just bait. Don't go it. There's no point going it. You can't skill up your R. Like people don't know this most of the time, but you can't skill up your R. It only applies to basic abilities. So fuck that and just go like boots. I mean, it's just the best. It's just why not? You know, it's pretty nice. Then we have like one thing that's like also pretty controversial. People are going all three of these. There's people that love Futures Market. They would kill their newborn son for Futures Market because they just love it so much. In my opinion, it's just trash. I don't see why Futures Market is good. That's why I didn't even put it here. Honestly, it comes down to preference. For me personally, I would suggest either going D-Mats or Biscuits. Biscuits are not that good anymore, so I would just say go D-Mats every game. And now if you're asking what minions to D-Mats, I think it depends. You can use D-Mats flexible. You can use D-Mats to push out a wave really fast when enemy roams. Let's say you have a cannon wave, you just D-Mat the cannon, you just push it out really fast, boom, enemy loses full wave because you roamed. Or you use it to like one-shot the caster minions earlier. You just use them on caster minions to one-shot them with 1E earlier. That's like obviously really a lot of dopamine, so it's pretty nice too. You can also just use it to farm in lane when you get like, when you play with like a hard matchup and they won't let you step up for the cannon. We just use the mats. Then we have Cosmic Insight, self-explanatory. It's just the best. There's nothing else in that thing that is better than Cosmic Insight. Gives you less cooldown on Flash, so it's like legit insane. Flash with Kassa is almost insane. Like always nice to have. Like pretty important late game too for the one shot, right? Getting on top of someone without using Flash is really hard. Okay, then we have the hard tree again. It's the same as always. Second Bone Plating, Demolish, Overgrowth, right? Then you have the free one. In this case, I put Ultimate Hunter and Ingenious Hunter because I think you can play Firststrike with Roar too. I think it's just not optimal. But if you want to play with Roar, then you will just go Ultimate Hunter instead of Ingenious Hunter. However, if you plan on going like the recommended thing with Seraphs, then I would just go Ingenious. Because yeah, you just stack up Ingenious and you get so much tier stacks faster. You get less cooldown on Zonia and Seraphs. Self-explanatory basically. Now, the exotic Kassadin rune page. The Comets. The Arcane Comets. Well, this one is, I wouldn't recommend to play that, but I'll do it anyways. You can go this with Seraphs or ROA Rush. It's just down to preference what you like more. Obviously, Mana Flow is the best here. There is nothing else you can go. Mana Flow is just nice to have, you know. The other ones are not that good. Transcendence, Absolute Focus. It comes down if you want to play ROA or Seraphs. If you play ROA, you need the Transcendence for the extra CDR. It's really nice to have. If you play Seraphs, you don't need it. You get enough abilities from items. So just go Absolute Focus and get more AP for free. And then just go Scorch. The whole idea with this thing is that you just wanna poke down the enemy. That's why Scorch is also really important. I had games where Scorch out damages the Comet. Because Comet doesn't always hit. Now, I will always also explain why I think Aerie is not that good. People are always like, oh, this guy played Aerie, this guy played Aerie, why don't you play Aerie? Why is Aerie so bad? Or like, why don't you play Aerie? And I always say, Aerie is just inferior to Comet in my opinion. Comet is like a rune. It procs like every 10 seconds, I think, or whatever, doesn't really matter. It takes longer, right? But it deals more damage. And your Q cooldown or your E cooldown is anyways long. So there's no point of having Aerie, since Aerie is like up every 4 seconds. And you can't keep up with that. Like, Q is long cooldown, it's like 10 seconds, I think, early on. Also like 8. And your E is anyways like longest cooldown in the game for like a basic ability, I think, straight up almost. So it makes no sense to go Aerie. Aerie is only good for long range match, like mages, or like basically stuff that can auto attack you. Like, for example, Vladimir. Vladimir can abuse Aerie pretty much really well, since he can auto attack a lot. But Kassa can't. He's literally just a melee. He can't attack, auto attack. He can only use spells. So that's why I think Comet is better. You will only like hit like an ability every 10 seconds anyways, and by that point Comet is up already. So that's why I think Comet is better than Aerie. Also, people have been going Gathering Storm instead of Scorch. That's like another thing that's like troll. Like, if you wanna scale or something, then just go something else completely, another rune page, and don't even go Comet. Comet is not really a scaling rune. Like, this is not a scaling rune page. I mean, it's obviously still good. I mean, fine, late game, right? It doesn't really matter that much. You have Mana Flow, you have Absolute Focus or Transcendence, pretty nice. But just do me the favor, don't go Gathering Storm with this. If you wanna go Gathering Storm so hard, then just go it in the second tree and not in the main tree. Now we have the hard tree again. It's like the same, right? Second Wind, Bone Plating, Demolish, Overgrowth. Same story, same story. And the free one, also the same. Ingenious Hunter for Seraphs, Ultimate Hunter for ROA. And there's also this thing, like, obviously you can go something else. Like, I'm just giving you an example. There's so many options you can really go. You can also combine Comet with the Inspiration Tree second. Like, it just doesn't really matter that much. I think it comes down to your imagination, what you want to do. Most of the time you are forced to go second anyways, so it's whatever. And in those games where you don't need to go second wind, it's free most of the time, right? Or you're trolling. So it doesn't really matter. It just comes down to preference. I just think that if you have a free matchup, the best thing you can really go is Sudden Impact, Ultimate Hunter, Ingenious Hunter, because those are just really nice to have on Kassa. But it basically boils down to your imagination, what you wanna do or combine the rune pages with. As long as it's not a hard matchup, then you're like always forced to go second wind, bone plating. That's about the runes. Alright, let's go with ROA first. I think ROA is probably the best item still. It's gonna get buffed soon. 14.3, I think. Currently we are on the 14.2. So ROA is like the item, right? It's like the scaling item. In my opinion, it's the best. Like to like Rush. It is also the most boring item. It's basically like a tough choice. Like, if you wanna try out, I would recommend going this item almost every game. There's not much we can do right now. It's just the strongest item. I think Conqueror is really good with ROA, especially with ROA, since Conqueror just basically makes you want to spam abilities on the enemy, and you are like really tanky with ROA, right? So you combine ROA with Conqueror and you get you like self like this bruiserish kind of Kassadin, where you just spam abilities. You can build tanky and be like unkillable god with like a lot of HP and just spamming your ass and W's and shit. Basically just chunking them every time and healing a bit. It's pretty nice. But Electrocute is also viable, don't get me wrong. I think it's not the best with ROA, but if you really like Electrocute, you can still go it. It's just up to preference most of the time. Even though I think that Conqueror is the best with ROA. Obviously, Fleet is also fine, but yeah, I'd say just play Conqueror with ROA. It's the best. And then let's see what boots we have. I think ROA gives you some options with boots. ROA is like making you really tanky, right? So going Mercs or Ninja Tabis is also an option. Most of the time you can look forward to. The only downside to this is that you will have 0 CTR unless you take CDR in the item rune pages. That is really important. Like, want to go Mercs or Ninatabis or Sorks even, then you need to take CDR somewhere, because you need to consider that ROA is literally 0 CDR. Like, the item gives you 0 CDR, and the first like time you will get CDR in the game is when you like complete your Seraphs, right? Or like get your Seraphs components. So you need to keep that in mind if you want to go something else that is not CDR boots. But I think CDR boots are most of the time like the boots you want to go with ROA. It gives you CDR, which ROA doesn't, so it like makes a big good fit. And I think when you have ROA and CDR boots and Conqueror, you can like fight most of the time, like a lot of stuff even. Like, it makes you pretty strong. Next thing, the obvious choice is just Seraphs. One thing you have to consider is that in the new season they made it so Seraphs stacks a bit faster. Since when you complete Seraphs, you can stack it faster now. It gives you double the stacks. That makes you able to buy tier a little bit later. I think that you still want to buy tier before you complete ROA. And one other thing is that people also like to delay ROA. Like, people will just like buy boots before they even finish ROA. I think that's up to preference in the game. You have to look how the game goes. The Delaying Roar gives you like more XP overall. It's pretty nice. You will get like 15 to 16, you know, like the jump, like from level 15 to 16. Most of the time of that, or 16 to 17 even. Like, completing earlier will like obviously give you less XP, because you're gonna like level up from 12 to 13 or 13 to 14, something along those lines. So you have to think about how the game will go and how the game is going. If the game is like a complete storm and you get like your teeth kicked in, or your team gets your teeth kicked in, then you wanna complete it faster so you can get level, that level faster, and you can like spike a bit earlier. However, if it doesn't really matter and it's like a stale game, then you can like delay it a bit and get more XP in the end, which is like nice. Third, there's like a lot of options. I think the cookie cutter build will just Malignance third. Malignance is getting buffed as well, by the way, like Seraphs. Yeah, that's like the best build you can probably have, like at 3 items with this, with Roar, Seraphs, Malignance, and boots. You will be really tanky, and you will have like no cooldown on your R. You will like spam your R all over the place. And one really important thing with Malignance is that it gives you 4 Conqueror stacks when you hit someone with your R. Because Malignance gives you 2 Conqueror stacks as well, which is pretty nice. It also procs Electrocute, by the way. If you are on someone with Malignance and W them, you proc Electrocute. It's like a pretty nice thing to know, just on the side, you know. You can also go something more tanky, like Frozen Heart or Abyssal Mask. Depends on the enemy comp. If enemy has like let's say full AP, you can opt into Merc Treads and Abyssal Mask third. Makes you like really tanky and unkillable. And obviously the same goes for enemy when enemy is full AD. Frozen Heart is pretty nice to go third also, it's pretty cheap. Obviously there's also the option of Zonias or Voidstaff if enemy builds like a lot of MR, or if they have like a Z or Talon or something and he just keeps on one-shotting you, or you're like scared of one-shotting, getting one-shot, you know. One thing that I didn't include here is like this Himmelwinter thing, like the other alternative to Seraphs. You can also consider going that if you want to go like some cracked full tank Kassadin build. I just didn't include it because I tried it out a bit and I'm not so sure if it's good or not. It's playable, but I wouldn't recommend it, so I didn't put it here. But that's just one thing you can keep in mind. If you want to go for some crazy Kassadin tank build, then you can also go for Himmelwinter instead of Seraphs, and then Abyssal Mask, Frozen Heart, and then like, I don't know, Riftmaker and Malignance, so you become like unkillable and like you spam your R and shit. But that's just, doesn't really matter, it's just like if you want to try it out. And then fifth we have like Rabadon, the most basic option. Rabadon is always good on Kassa. He has so much AP scaling, and like literally for abilities they scale with AP, so every AP point is good on Kassa. I just included some other items, like if you went Malignant third, you can obviously go Frozen Heart fourth, Abyssal Mask, it doesn't really matter. It's pretty self-explanatory, I think. I don't have to explain anything. And then last, you have like the option of selling your boots, right? If it's like this like late game state where everyone is like level 18 and has like full items, and you're looking for that additional advantage, you can sell your boots and get Void Staff or Lichbane. Depends on enemy comp and what they build. Like, Lichbane is pretty good with a lot of AP. I will explain it later what I think of Lichbane. There's like this one item build you can go now. But yeah, Lichbane is pretty good with a lot of AP. You can consider going that. Or Voidstaff if they have MR, right? Or Riftmaker if you like have this like tanky Kassadin build, which some people really like for some reason. I mean, I'm not really into that. It's fun, but you can also go Riftmaker instead of these 2 other options. And yeah, that sums it up pretty well for the raw item build that you can like go. Maybe there's some other items that you can fit in here. But I think overall, if you ask me what the best item build right now is and what it will be, is raw, Seraphs, CDR boots, and Malignance into either Rabadon or Void Staff, depending on enemy. That's just like the best item builds. And last, I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? But yeah, that just sums it up. And now we come to the more fun item builds, in my opinion, which includes your rushing Seraphs. There's gonna be one more build with Lichbane Rush, but I'll come to that after this one. So this one basically includes you rushing Seraphs. What is important with this build that you consider taking Ingenious Hunter, since Ingenious Hunter is really nice with Seraphs Rush, since you stack your tiers so fast. If you don't know what Ingenious Hunter does, it basically just makes you stack tier faster. It gives you like item CDR, so your items have less CDR. That's just all there is to it. I think this item build like works well with Firststrike, Electrocute, or Comet if you want. You can go like this like full one-shot Kassadin build with Electrocute and Scorch Absolute Focus. And you just rush Seraphs into Sork Boots into Rabadon or some shit, you know. That's like one of these like options. I think this build is like only good with Sorks or CDR boots. So you don't wanna go tanky when you rush Seraphs. Like you really don't wanna like go this into full 5 tanks enemy. You know what I mean? Like this is this kind of build you wanna go into like 4 squishies enemy and 1 tank. It doesn't really matter, right? They just one-shot everyone. This works with like mages mostly, you know, like you just one-shot them at 2 items basically. So that's why I think that you should only consider CDR boots or Sorks. Going anything else is just troll. After that, I think you can just go Malignance. There's also like the option of going Lichbane here, but since Malignance is getting buffed, I think it's gonna be better. There's like preference though. You can obviously go Lichbane here too. It's just up to preference in my opinion. Just play what is more fun to you. Malignance might be a bit better, but it's whatever. Third, you really wanna go Rabadon, since like you just wanna get that AP number up, right? Like you wanna stack it up. You can also go Void Staff if enemies like a lot of MR, or Zonias if you really need that like Zonia from like protection from like Z and Talent and stuff, like any assassin basically. Makes it really nice to play against them. One additional side note here is that you can also rush Zonias into Seraphs if you want, into Z or Talon or something. I actually think that works pretty well now. Like you can rush Zonias, and especially with Ingenious Hunter, like it's quite the undervalued rune. Seraph's cooldown plus Zonia's cooldown will be like reduced. So your Zonias will be like on a really low cooldown. Same with the Seraph shield, which is obviously really nice. So you like don't insta die if they like go on you, right? But yeah, I would just say go Rabadon's third normally. Then we have the fourth. Like I think that here you can choose between like this Storm Surge or Void Staff or whatever. Abyssal Mask. If you didn't buy Rabadon's here, obviously Rabadon. It's like up to you basically. I think Shadow Flame is not that good. You can consider going it though if you just wanna go like that crazy one-shot builds. But most of the time I think Shadow Flame is not gonna be good. It's like a bait item kinda. It just looks cool, but it won't really do much. I think most of the time that you will be better off going Zonia or Void Staff. And lastly, you wanna go Lichbane. Lichbane is really nice. Because it works really well with a lot of AP. Like it scales of AP, right? So the more AP you have, the more damage Lichbane will do. And overall, I think it's pretty good. Now, like it's like fine. Last season was kind of ass. Now you can play it, in my opinion. So yeah, that's like the most optimal build you can go when you rush Seraphs. I think Seraphs, Malignance, Rabadon, Zonia into Lichbane / Void Staff. This is like the one-shot build, right? I'll get to the like Lichbane Rush thing now. But yeah, that just sums it up for this one. Now we come to the best and professional item builds ever. This will make you feel like you're playing season 10 again. But the problem is you will just get one shot everyone, but that's besides the point. So how this build works is you just rush Lichbane. What's really important is that you go Ingenious Hunter. Without Ingenious Hunter, this build is not that good. It's really important because Ingenious Hunter basically makes it so you have more Seraph shields and you have more Lichbane procs. Because Lichbane also gets impacted by Ingenious Hunter. 2 best runes for that, I think it's just Firststrike and Electrocute, like basically full damage, right? And yeah, I can recommend you going Electrocute with Scorch Absolute Focus for like the ultimate one-shot. You get more AP from Absolute Focus, and it stacks up with Rabadons too, which makes you feel like you will have a lot of AP, basically. Like, you know, back in the old days. But yeah, you just go Lichbane Rush. Make sure to build your tier before you finish Lichbane. You just wanna go get it on like first back kinda. Go Sorks. If you really need them, go CDR boots. CDR boots are good in the early game, but they fall off later. It's just basically like a trade-off. If you wanna have the full damage experience, go Sorks. After you go Seraphs, it's a must. You cannot skip this. You will get one shot by a fly if you don't go Seraphs second, like even then you will get one shot by like a dog, not by a fly, but you know, at least you get one shot by a dog and not by a fly, if you know what I mean. Seraphs also gives you the necessary mana. Without Seraphs, this build is unplayable, it's just ass. You cannot skip Seraphs, it's just not a thing. So you go with second. After you wanna go rubber, if you really need to, you can go Zonia or Void Staff if your team is like full AP and they have like full MR. But then you shouldn't be playing this build in the first place. So I think you should just go rubber here. Or Zonia if you really need it. After this, you can go Storm Surge. I think Storm Surge is not the most optimal thing anymore since it got nerfed a bit. But it's still like really fun to play. If you got fourth, you will just one-shot everyone. Or you just go Void Staff if they build like some MR. I think most of the time you wanna go Void Staff here. Even though they have like not much MR, like if they have like just some Merc threats, it's already like pretty good. And yeah, last. If you didn't have Void Staff, you can go obviously Void Staff here. If not, you can go something as Shadow Flame. I just didn't include it because I don't think Shadow Flame is good, as I already mentioned. But if you like play this build, it might be like fine since it gives you a lot of AP and it gives you like some decent one-shot capabilities with its passive. I think this build is really fun to play. I have been enjoying it a lot. It's a bit harder to play, so I wouldn't recommend it to play for like new players. But yeah, I mean, there's no point playing if you have no fun, right? So if you want to have fun, go this build. It's not the worst. It's inferior to ROA build in my opinion. It's like probably the same as the Seraphs Rush build. It's definitely like viable and I've seen a lot of people go it. Like there's a lot of people going it and even higher elo. My fellow high elo Kassadin players that go this too and rush it. And they have like good success with it. So you know, why can't you go ahead and try it out for yourself? It will make you feel like you do damage again. But you also will get one shot. So yeah, you have to play really well. Flash is obviously really important since you wanna R-flash W kinda and you one shot. Go ahead and try it out and let me know what you think. Okay, last but not least, I want to shout out some other Kassadin homies. First, X-Racer, really good cast player. He speaks German most of the times nowadays. Streams on Twitch. He's a really good player, check him out. I will leave the link to everyone in the description, by the way, just saying it. Then we have Cloud. He's a really good custom player, high elo most of the time. Like Grandmaster Child, you know, idling around there, casually chilling. Playing Vladimir too, so if you're interested in Vladimir, he's also like insane Vladimir player. Then we have Assassin, and an A-Cast high elo player. Check him out, he's like perma streaming on Twitch right now, really good player. X-Blade Mojo, you know, the homie, the GOAT. Yeah, he's like a lot of guides and stuff on YouTube, especially. A lot of like stuff for the newbies, you know. You know, if you're like new to Kassadin, then you might wanna check him out. He has like a lot of good guides about Kassadin. And yeah, last but not least, we have the GOAT himself, Hashinshin. He has been playing custom for like a long time now. He has like insane mechanics on his champ. Like he can R-flash, even IRL, you know. It's like crazy. Through walls, you know. I wouldn't say more, but that should like be like enough sets. So make sure to check him out. I leave the links to everyone in the description once again. And yeah, that was the video. If you have anything else you want me to like talk about maybe in future videos or stuff like that, just let me know in the comments. Alright, bye.